Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire, is Zack Snyder's take on Star Wars. If anybody didn't know, he kind of pitched an idea a while back. It was rejected as a Star Wars movie. He kind of kept it, made it his own. Netflix approached him for a project. He showed them this. They saw potential in a franchise. And here we are with Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. It stars Sofia Botella as Cora, Charlie Hunnam as Kai, and Anthony Hopkins. He plays a robot in the movie. Not enough of him, but that's a whole other story. If you like 80s sci-fi, I think there's something to like about here. It has that 80s feel to it. Especially there's a guy, shirtless guy, well built, riding a griffin. It kind of reminds me of those old Conan or Tarzan or Red Sonja books from Boris Vallejo. If anybody can remember that far back, they had those fantasy graphic novels, and he was the most famous guy of them all. It has that kind of touch to it. Reminds me of it is part Seven Samurai. It's obviously a Star Wars story, and I think the other one that he ripped off that's one of my favorites, Battle Beyond the Stars. I think that was probably an inspiration from that. If you like Zack Snyder, it has everything you could want from it. It's visually stunning. It looks beautiful. A lot of slow mo, and I mean a lot of slow mo. He should join up with Michael Bay and do slow motion explosions, and I think that'd be like an amazing movie. But that's a whole other story too. So basically, it's again like Star Wars. You got the evil empire coming to this planet saying, we're going to take everything from you. We've got a defector who was once in that army with the empire who's going to rustle up a bunch of warriors to fight them off. And that's basically nutshell. We got Korra going from world to world to world, picking up these warriors, preparing for the battle, and then it ends, right? Looks great. A little too much slow mo for me, but again, that's Zack Snyder's style. Again, it reminds me of something out of the 80s, but the one thing, like something out of Battle Beyond the Stars, it is cheesy. It's cheesy B movies. A lot of these 80s sci-fi, that low budget ones that came out. But the one thing that they did make up with when they lacked the budget, it was made with a lot of heart. This doesn't have heart. So it kind of falls short. You don't really care about these characters. Up to this point, no. I think Anthony Hopkins, his character, the robot, I think it's Jimmy, his name, if I remember correctly, has moments that you go, I could really like this character if you actually show him a little more. So I'm hoping in part 2 we'll get to see what this character does. So I'm going to say it's a big embodiment of potential versus the reality of execution. A lot of potential, especially with the world building. I'm assuming that 4-hour cut will give us a lot more to enjoy. But again, you should have just given us the 4-hour cut to begin with. What's the point of me watching not the version that you originally intended for us to see? So again, like I said, they're trying to repeat the Justice League thing where you have Josh Whedon's theatrical cut versus Zack Snyder's director's cut, right? So they're trying to mimic that. Hopefully that works for them. I'm sure it's going to do well the first couple of weeks. But I think until we see that 4-hour cut, I'm disappointed in this. It had a great 80s kind of movie to it, 80s sci-fi feel to it. But like I said, it's missing the essential, the crucial element, heart. Nothing seems organic. It just seems, let's put enough of these set pieces that look cool, and that's going to be enough. Cool is great, but if I don't care about any of these characters, so if they do bite the dust, there's no payoff, or there's no emotional, like, oh my God, not her, not him. And that's what's missing here. So hopefully the 4-hour cut does give us what we deserve in a movie, is characters that we want to root for, especially if they're going to go up against the evil empire. You want to root for them and not go, whatever, But that's me. I'm slightly disappointed, yet kind of happy. It had an 80s kind of feel for it. But if you really want to see something a little better, Lower budget, I'm talking like it's $1 million budget, but it has lots of heart, and that's Battle Beyond the Stars. James Cameron created the ships on here. One of them looks like woman's breasts. If you can get past that, there's a lot of fun to be had here, and that was the point of those movies. It was fun, and that Zack Snyder he removed the fun, and nothing wrong with it looking cool. But there should be some enjoyment of seeing these characters going through all this in order for you to root for them. And I don't see myself rooting for these guys in part 2. Like I said, 4-hour cut should have just been released right away. Let's get it done with. Why waste our time? Why watch it 3-4 times? I guess, like I said, I guess they want to have different viewerships and more viewership as people check out both. I'm never going to understand that. I think you should have just released one definitive version, which everybody will love, and it'll do just as much as 2 different versions that most people won't agree on. But that's me. Have you seen Rebel Moon? What do you like about it? What you don't like about it? Let me know. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This is Steven with my initial thoughts on Rebel Moon Part 1.